Britain shut me up to tricks. So I guess if you all have any questions, I'd like to address them. And if not, then I will go and do whatever it is I do.
So how do you sustain yourself?
How do I sustain myself?
Yeah.
Up until now, we worked as events coordinators, and then the ones and artists as well in the group, and everyone's got different professional jobs. It's interesting, the cost of living has dramatically decreased since we realised we could get everything for free, so we don't actually spend a lot. We get a lot of the things that all of you would spend money on, like gas bills, electric bills, rent, nights out, food. A lot of that's free for us now. So we don't actually have a lot of sustaining left to do. Yesterday we got lottery funding, which is the most abstract thing in the world, and we're currently applying. Apparently in this country, this is all news to us in the last couple of months, but there's a huge amount of funding available for crackpots. So we're just filling out the forms, and because of the nature of our work, we seem to be getting funding from everybody. On our website, you'll see that one of our aims is to show that positive thinking and being kind isn't just, parlor talk. It's actually a way of making a living and existing in the three-dimensional actual world in a way that doesn't humble you. Doesn't mean you have to miss out on anything. Doesn't mean you have to have less things than anyone else and not do stuff that you want to do. In fact, I'd even go so far as to say it's a demonstration at this point about the fact that if you behave appropriately to the world, and the world will behave appropriately to you as well. But it's an interesting moment to have jumped in on that question, because we're just tipping that one round, and as of about 48 hours ago, it completely sustains itself.
How would you like primary school teachers to describe you to children?
Oh gosh, it's interesting. We've done some workshops in primary schools and things. I don't know, kids like us, because we're very cartoon-like and we don't take it very seriously. But I guess we're just a group of guys who are trying to live our lives in the best possible way. And that's a very kind of selfish endeavor, and we just happen to have worked out the divine algebra of the fact that to really own something means you have to give it away. And if you really want the best thing for yourself, for some inexplicable reason, you've got to work out what's best for everyone else. So, guys who are trying to get it right. But I don't know, it's interesting with the primary school children, we've done stuff like we sat down in different groups and they've written constitutions for governing the country based on being nice to one another, and kind of that's a good exercise to take that further. We've done exercises where we've given them a small amount of money, between 50 pence and £5 each, and asked them what they could do and their friends and families to actually experience it. Because this is, I came here because I was nicely asked, but I generally, talking and describing, this is it doesn't really lend itself, especially in that age group. This is an interactive sport, live, so I wouldn't like to describe it. I would like to turn up with some hard hats and some jackets and a load of stuff and say, come on kids, let's go give it away to Gran and see how it feels. Because it's the doing and the feeling that is the words. I don't know, it's so easy to get the wrong end of words, and a lot of people really understand things and they can verbalize them to you, but they don't really understand them because they're not doing them. And this is the central point of kind of visualization and action, is that it's got very little to do with verbal communication. In fact, I don't know, this looks like the choir, so I might just sing to it, but on some level, it's more to do with yourself than it is to do with anything that you can't say like that. But probably I'd invite them to do something kind and take a note of how that feels.
Primary school kids are like the other little thing that adults try and sustain in their life. The child inside you, the joy. I think the primary school kids are already pretty much enlightened. They're the place that they can try and reach at an older age, just because laid with all the other rubbish.
It's amazing how easily the youngsters love it. There's no question. We have older volunteers who kind of, you see them, they're sitting there with something of value, and they don't want to go away. You see the tension in there. You come here today to do this, so give it. For kids, they get it straight away. They're like, oh hey, I get to be Father Christmas. So yeah, invite them to do something. That's kind of where it's at.
Reginald, do you want to say something?
I was just asking, where did he get his sense of humour? Was he born with it, or did he create it? He's a good fellow, I know, but
you become a volunteer?
How do you become a volunteer? On our website, there's a volunteer tab. Just press it and give us your details, and we'll add you to a mailing list.
So what's the name of your website?
It's just thekindnesoffensive.com. Very easy to find. We're at the top of the search. And we take requests from people. Recently, we helped a lady who couldn't afford her medication. We gave her a year's supply of the medicine that she needs. So if you're in need, we'll take your request. If you have an idea that you think might fit into our activities, then we'll take that request. And if you want us to come along and talk, we do our best to try and meet the world halfway. So yeah, to come find us on the internet is probably your best bet.
Are you guys incorporated now as a social enterprise, or?
That's another interesting question. It's funny, all the suits have come to us and insisted that we become a social enterprise and that we get validating paperwork. I get to see the rationale that backs up doing that. As far as I can see from where I'm sitting, any structure that I would adopt would just be more paperwork for me, right? And also, whenever you invite walls into open spaces, you have to live with that. That becomes your zone. I quite like just being a guy who does stuff. So we may crumple to that pressure at some point. But so far, all the funding people have insisted, and we said, no, that's not us. This is who we are, and and a lot of people, very well-minded people, have come to us and said, you know what you need to do. So at the moment, we're just a group of guys. Having said that, though, we're very lucky. We work with loads of different charities, loads, like 35, all the children's charities, all the old age pensioners charities, endless list of soup kitchens and what have you. So we're totally open to working with all the different structures and all the different belief systems, and just don't tell me what to be.
And I also heard you say at the very beginning that there's other kinds of offences outside of England, or is it
there's the kind of small mushrooming groups across the states that are kind of offensive. They're going out doing little bits and pieces. They're up and down the country. A lot of people who are crediting kind acts as being and having been inspired by us, which is cool.
Thank you.
Sorry, go ahead. You spoke about the calls you did in the early days. Could you do a mock call for me?
A mock call? Yeah, I guess. The thing is, it sounds, the only thing it's got going for it is the fact that it actually works. It's completely preposterous. Rather than going a mock call, I can tell you the stages that we go through. If you want somebody to give you something, this is obvious stuff, but the thing is, with all of this, it is all obvious stuff, right? And so this is like the applying of common sense, effectively. So the first thing is you have to identify the person who can actually give you something. There's no point in me asking you for a television, because you probably haven't got a spare one, right? So we phone up a company, and the first thing we do is called Find the Farmer, which is an analogy I'll briefly explain to you, because it's quite a valuable one, which is if you wanted a potato, how do you get your free potato, right? Well, you could go knocking on people's doors and say, excuse me, if you've got potato, if you've got potato. The people you're going to speak to on the doorstep, that's their supper, right? And they don't want to be annoyed by you. Go away. You're not going to get a positive. So you can knock on a million doors, and that's probably going to be a waste of your time and everyone else's. You go to a shop, say, give me a free potato. They're in a setup where they're selling you potatoes. So they're not going to buy that. They're going to say, listen, you can buy one, but if you take one for free, we're going to do you for shoplifting. That's the game we've got set up here. You go to the wholesaler. Wholesaler's going to say, listen, we don't give stuff away. We give you a good price on 10,000 potatoes, but that's about what most people do. You follow the food chain back, you end up with a farmer. His existence is a very different one. You go to the farmer, you find him in the field, he's got acre and acre and acre and acre of potatoes, and you say, listen, I want a free potato. He reaches in the ground and gives it to you. He's the right guy to ask that question to, because he's actually in a position to do it, feel happy about it, and he comes from abundance. And for him, there's no lack in giving you a potato. He's a farmer. So the first thing you do is you have to find the farmer. And that's as simple as getting on the phone and saying who's in charge of sending out your free televisions or your free pizzas or whatever. Jenna, that's a funny question, but you've got to identify, there's no point in asking the wrong person. So often that can be 99% of the time we spend is identifying the human being that's actually got that authority. Interestingly, a lot of these human beings don't understand that they're the ones that have the authority either. We'll speak to a whole company and they'll go, Jeff's in charge of that, and Jeff doesn't. You speak to Jeff, just like, I don't do that. Jeff, who would you have to ask permission to get this done? And suddenly the penny will drop and you'll go, no one. Wow, that does make you the guy then, right? So it's interesting, a lot of these guys don't know. So you find the farmer, and then it's about forward dating your emotions. That's what positive thinking is about. It's about being joyful and happy and grateful about something that hasn't happened yet. So you have to express that down the phone. And there is no set, it's not like, you know, an incantation where I can tell you 25 words to say and suddenly stuff will start falling out of the sky. But there are axioms that you can adhere to. You have to be happy. And I find that one of the simplest ways of being happy is to smile. Literally, even down a phone, it seems to have a magical effect. And I know because we video all the calls we've ever made on camera, and we watch them back like nerds, so I can tell you exactly what works. But smiling really helps. And you have to be very grateful, because you would be. You know, that's part of, if you receive something for free, you'd be very happy about it, be very grateful, and you wouldn't be shy about expressing that. So, hello Jeff, it's wonderful to be speaking to you, because it is. I'm really happy about this phone call because you are, and this is something extraordinary is about to happen. You now got his attention. Yeah, that's anyone who's ever done sales. You've got to get their attention, you've got to get their interest, you've got to get their desire, and then you get the sales, and you've got to get their attention, and you, this guy's amazing. This guy is going to be doing something extraordinary, and you big him up for it. You tell him how amazing he is, you tell him it's great, then you tell him what you're expecting. And we always act as if, as far as I'm concerned, positive visualization ought to mean I can pull an apple out of the sky. So this is almost a little bit like an unnecessary buffer that I'm kind of learning my way through. But I will be equally frustrated and a little disappointed that the thing isn't there now. Because you would be. You've got free TV coming, right? And it's not there now. So imagine what it would feel like. And this is the thing with positive visualization. You've actually got to put yourself in the seat of what you would actually feel like. Not what you think you might. You've got to actually arrive there. So, and you say, Jeff, this is all great, but this is all nothing without the TV, right? We need the TV, we need it now. You need to send it quickly because there's a lack in my life, there's a void here. He says, are you sure they're sending a TV? Look, would I be on the phone with you, Jeff, if I wasn't sure that there's a TV coming? Now come on, give me some credit, Jeff, right? So there's no TV, you are the guy who sends it, yes, I'm the guy. Okay, well then what you need to do now, you need to take my address, Jeff, and you need to send this thing out. And you do not move off the spot at all. And you mustn't be deterred if Jeff says no to you. Maybe he's not the right company. Maybe he's not the right guy. You don't stop looking for your keys because they're not where you first. They know your keys are there. So you keep going. But the thing is, if you can hit it right, and you don't waver, and you don't have any doubt that he's an awesome human being who can do this for you, that you deserve it, that it's the best thing that could happen. They send out the stuff over and over, and this is the thing, if you get it right as well, this happens, there isn't a company that hasn't done this actually with us. Jeff will call me back and say, that was good fun, let's do it again. And we got a lot of people who do it over and over again. And initially that sounds like a fantastical, really strange thing, but walk a minute in Jeff's shoes. Jeff's having a boring day. Jeff sends TVs out to people, or blenders, or tickets, to people who pay for them, executives he doesn't like. Suddenly you've got crazy man on the phone, all lively, happy, bubbly. This is an exciting, different, crazy, mad thing we're doing here. Jeff, come on! Suddenly he's totally, this is the highlight of his day. He gets to go home and tell his girlfriend, wow, this really strange thing happened. Did you know, darling, that I'm the guy who can give away free TV? The whole experience for Jeff there with a bow on it that he gets to run around and play with now. And he wants more of that. Because that was different, that was exciting, and he got to do something. And this is one of the fantastic things about companies, even though they're big and they're impressive in class, and most people don't do very much. And most people do the same thing over and over and over and over again. So a big part of it is if you're going to give someone an interesting experience, they want more of that interesting experience. So rather than an actual role play, that's a bit, just stick to your metal and don't give up. That's basically it.
Have you, given your publicity and everything, the success, do you find that you have to call less people coming to you